Today I'm sharing a simple, nourishing spring meal made completely from scratch. Garlic and herb roasted chicken served with a wild rice and garbanzo bean side dish and a fresh spinach and tomato salad. This is the kind of meal that feels comforting but still light enough for the season, and it all comes together in a way that supports a peaceful rhythm in the home. Welcome back to For Your Heart and Home. If you're new here, my name is Didi. Welcome in. Today's meal preparation started long before this moment. This morning when I woke up, I took my chicken out of the freezer, I defrosted it, then I washed my wild rice and I placed it in a container of warm water, and I did the same thing for my garbanzo beans. I store dried beans on my pantry shelf because it's just easier, but I know that it takes a longer time to cook, so since I was already defrosting the chicken and I knew this would take a long time to prepare, I went ahead and I did some extra steps by soaking both the beans and the wild rice. So now they're both ready to be prepared for today's dinner. So I'm simply going to wash the rice again, get it into a pot of boiling water. I actually added a bit of herbs and butter to the water just to add a bit more flavoring to the wild rice, and you can do the same if you so choose. I also soaked the garbanzo beans, so I'm going to wash those one more time, get that in a separate pot of boiling water, and get those going. While those are on the stove, I'm going to start with the star of the meal, which really is the garlic and herb roasted chicken. I like to keep this simple and flavorful. The key is seasoning generously and letting the oven do the work. I usually start with a coating of avocado oil. I like to cover the chicken both front and back with the avocado oil. This is going to help the chicken skin to crisp up and give it that nice golden color and still help the chicken to retain its tenderness and juiciness. Now my chicken has already been washed and cleaned, so that's always the first step when working with any type of meat. Our family has been eating a lot of roasted chicken lately, and as I've stated in previous videos, if my family enjoys something, I'm going to keep making it. So we've been alternating between roasted chicken and a few other staples. So on this night when we're roasting chicken, I love the smell that it fills the home with, as it reminds me of warmth, and the savory aroma instantly makes the kitchen feel like home. On busy nights like this, because this was a homeschool day, so we had homeschooling happening in the morning and now it's the afternoon and I'm preparing dinner, I helped my future self by thawing my meat and soaking the beans and the rice, but I still had other things that I needed to get done on this day. So having the oven do the work for me is one way that I can still prepare nourishing meals for my family without having to be in the kitchen for an extended period of time. So the chicken is in the oven, the garbanzo beans are cooking away on the stove, as well as the wild rice. Now you can speed up the process of the cooking of the rice and the garbanzo beans by using, say, an Instapot, but I don't have that, so I'm just using a regular pot of boiling water on the stove. You can also make this meal even more accessible by using a can of already cooked garbanzo beans, if that works for you. Now, this side dish can be mixed together, both the wild rice and the garbanzo beans, but I'm going to keep it separate because it's this sort of a meal planning for me for the week as well. So when I am going to eat it for tonight's dinner, I will combine the two, but I'm going to cook them separate and store them separately so that if throughout the week I would like to grab for garbanzo beans for something, I can, and I can grab for rice if I need it for something else. I don't always want to eat them together, so I'm going to cook them separately, store them separately, but when I go to eat my meal, I can easily toss them together. Both the garbanzo beans and the wild rice are simple. It's a hearty combination, the two, and it adds both texture and nourishment to the plate. I already have a solid protein with the chicken, so the garbanzo beans and the rice are just going to bring a wonderful texture to the plate. If you've never had wild rice, it is slightly nutty in flavor, and the garbanzo beans actually helps to create more balance on the plate. I highly suggest and recommend that you try using wild rice. It's a very different texture than your everyday white rice. It also takes much longer to cook. And so again, you can help yourself by soaking for an hour or two or even longer overnight if you would like to, because that will significantly cut down your cooking time. Like I said before, I kept it very simple with a spinach and tomato salad to bring some freshness to the meal. I'm preparing the spinach and tomato salad. This is a very simple, but that's what makes it so good. Fresh spinach, ripe tomatoes, a little home dressing if you want to. Usually when I make a dressing, I just use some white vinegar. I also put in some honey and a little bit of avocado oil. I didn't even do that today. There was already a lot going on the plate, and so what I had going on was just fine. But if you want to make a light homemade dressing, by all means go ahead and do that. But this salad is just enough to enhance the natural flavors without overpowering anything on the plate. If you want to make it even more special, you can add cucumbers, red onion, or even a sprinkle of cheese. This simple spinach and tomato salad is crisp, it's refreshing, and it's the perfect balance for this warm roasted chicken. This is what my plate looked like. Again, I had the garbanzo beans, I had the wild rice, I had the salad, and I had my portion of the roasted chicken. Everything was absolutely delicious, and I do encourage you to give this a try. I don't have a formal recipe for you, but if you have any questions about how I prepared anything, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section, and I will be sure to answer any questions you have there. This was a simple meal, but it was very complete. It felt warm, it felt fresh, and it was absolutely satisfying all at once. Meals like this remind me that cooking from scratch doesn't have to be complicated. It's really about building rhythms in the home that feel sustainable, meals that nourish your family without overpowering your day. Today was a very busy homeschooling day filled with all the things we had to do, but I still was able to carve out some time to prepare this nourishing meal for my family. I hope this encourages you in your own kitchen and inspires you to create simple, peaceful meals at home. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one here at For Your Heart and Home.